had somebody say the most successful first month in the history. Now they said the most successful 100 days in the history of our country, and I believe that's right. And we're going to continue that way, if not more so, and we're going to do tremendously in midterms. There's no reason we should do great in the midterms. There's this thing that, for some reason, the president, whoever the president is, the midterms are tough. Why would they be tough? If we're doing great, they should be easy. And I'm telling you, we got to win a lot more. But as Mike said before, I happened to listen to him. He was on C-SPAN 1. That's a big upgrade, right? I was listening as I was putting on the tie. How does it look? He was on C-SPAN 1, and they were talking about that. And I thought to myself, because people love him and they love your leaders, they love, really, the party is just doing well. A couple we could do without, to be honest with you, but the party is doing well, and there's no reason we shouldn't just get together and win these midterms and win them by a lot, because 7 that I heard Mike talking about before, 7 is not really enough. But we lived for 1 for a period of time. You know, the only thing good about 7, when you have 1, and now all of a sudden you have 7, it sounds like it's like a landslide. It's so good. It's like the most amazing thing. 7 sounds so good when I hear that. It sounds like we can't be beaten. And we should be 50, 60 up. Honestly, we should be 100 up, because based on policy, these people have the worst policy that anybody's ever seen. There's something wrong with them. Honestly, there's something wrong with them, all this crap. 13 House Democrats currently represent districts that voted for Trump, and voted for Trump big. And in 2026, we're going to tell them, all 13, that you're fired, get out. Out, get out. No reason for that, 13, but 13 is a small number compared to some of these stats. We are going to work very hard. I'm going to do tele-rallies. You know tele-rallies? I'll do rallies for a lot of you, but I'll do tele-rallies at a minimum. And we just had 2 great elections, by the way, and I heard everybody is introducing our 2 new Congress. Where are they, please? Stand up. I want to look you in the eye. I want to look you in the eye, Randy. Look at the 2 of them. What a job you did, man. Huh? You were never in doubt. Where's our second person here? I know there he is. Boy, they gave him a lousy seat. He's behind. Great job. We're proud of you, man. Great job. Great job. Thank you. And, you know, both elections, they were saying, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. And I was listening. And they won by, you won by, what, 17 points, 18 points? I don't think that's close. I don't think it's close. So we won by 15 and 18 points. And they're saying it was a terrible evening for Trump. Can you believe it? Terrible evening. They only won by 18 points and 15 points. Anyway, good job, both of you. Good job. But in addition to our fantastic House Speaker, we're pleased to be joined by Majority Leader Steve Scalise. And I watched you too, Steve. I watched you on C-SPAN 1. And Steve has suffered greatly. I mean, I was there the night that it looked like he wasn't going to make it. He's very brave. He suffered greatly. And I tell the story about the baseball game where, I mean, he was really, the doctor told me, sir, I've never had anybody lose so much blood. It's not looking good. And his wife loved him. She was such a disaster that night. She was crying. She was crying, because I've been with people that were in serious trouble and the wives couldn't care. They couldn't care less. In fact, after they recovered, I said, do yourself a favor, get rid of the wife. She couldn't. No, I'm only kidding, of course. I'm only kidding. I like to say I'm only kidding. That way, that cleans it up a little bit for the press. I say I was only kidding. No, I've seen some wives that were truly not bothered too much. I had one where the dog died and the husband died on the same day, and I said, it's too bad about Harry. No, but Lucy died. Lucy, oh my God. Harry didn't mean, he left her a fortune too. Can you believe it? Harry didn't matter. The dog mattered a lot. But I was with Steve, and he was really, that was a tough thing. And then, amazingly, he was, like a year later, he was in the baseball game against the Democrats, and he's playing second base, and he was having a hard time. You know, it's a hard time getting around. And with his luck, a shot was hit to him on the ground, a ground ball, and he got down, and that ball was no way that ball was, it was right at him, but really it was whacked. I don't know who the hell hit it. It looked like a major league ground ball. And Steve went down and blocked that sucker and got on his knees and threw it to first base. It was the most unbelievable thing that it could happen. This was God. This was God watching a game, I'm telling you. Does everybody remember that? He blocked it, or knocked the hell out of his foot. Not his glove, it was his foot. And he got down and grabbed the ball, threw it out, and got the runner by quite a bit. And they then took him out of the game. And I said, what a great move. That was a good manager. They took him out of the game because you can't improve on that, let me tell you. But he had great courage, and amazing how he's done. And he's been very special, and all of us know it. He's really done great. Another man I've really gotten to know a lot, and I think he's fantastic, is Tom Emmer, Majority Whip. I think he's fantastic. Where's Tom? Where's Tom? Where is our Tom? Because I want to see his wife. You know, his wife is better than him. He admits it. Oh, that's good. Hi, Tom. So where is she, Tom? Oh, no. She's not. She's home. She's watching C-SPAN. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Tom. Great job you do. And Lisa, you were up talking about Donald Trump tonight. And Lisa McLean, conference chair, she was talking about Trump. And I appreciate it, Lisa. Lisa, where are you, Lisa? Just like a roast. Thank you, darling. I saw your whole speech. I watched you and Steve and Mike. I watched the whole thing. Then they said, sir, we have to leave. You're going to be late. I said, I don't want to watch your speeches. And we have Richard Hudson, the NRCC chairman, who set the record tonight. Richard, great going. That's a great job. And Brian Jack, who was with me from day one of my political career, he was so fantastic. He was so fantastic. And he came to me, he said, do you think it would be okay? He wanted to run for Congress. He always wanted to run for Congress. It was the most important thing. But he was with me, knows so much about politics and boxing. He knows a lot about boxing, too, but he loves politics. But he really just wanted to run. I think his ambition was to be a congressman. And the seat came due. A good member of Congress actually retired, and Brian in Georgia. And Brian said, what do you think, sir? I said, well, you got my endorsement. And he won by a lot, and he's never looked back. He's a fantastic guy and a great political leader, a great politician. Brian Jack. Where are you, Brian? Where are you, Brian? Hi, Brian. Great job. Proud of you, Brian. And more than 160 members of Congress, and I'd like to really, you've done incredibly well. They're really looking back. And, you know, I said before, the Democrats have taken a lot of beatings. They have lost their confidence. They've gone crazy. They've gone crazy. How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her? Is that real? Are they serious about that? That's their new star? If that's their new star, they're in serious trouble. I mean, this is Crockett. Oh, man, oh, man. But we've done a job, but they've totally lost their confidence. And it's a hard thing when you lose your confidence, but they have. They've taken a lot of beatings, and now they're going to rely on Crockett to bring them back. Crockett's going to bring them back. You ever watch this? Last November, all the leaders here tonight were given a mandate from the American people, and at the presidential level, we won, think of this, all 7 swing states. We won the Electoral College 312 to 226. That's not bad. Remember? The fake news was saying it's going to be tough because people like Trump, but he should be able to get 270. I actually went to Nebraska and campaigned for 1 vote. I went to New Hampshire. I campaigned because they said that it could be we're 270, 269. So I'm going to all the places, and I'm trying to get one. We won Nebraska big, but there was one area, and I went there. I went all over the place campaigning, and then we get 312. But we won in a landslide, too, because we won the popular vote for the first time of a Republican in decades, and now I think that's going to be done routinely. We won 85% of all counties in America, 525 for them and 2,725 for us. That's that map that you see. It's all red except for the two corners. They have a little blue, a little line of blue. For the first time in history, all 50 states shifted toward the Republican Party. First time in history. It's never happened. It's a shift. It shifted Republican. And today there are more registered Republicans than any time in the history of our country. How good? How about that? Meanwhile, approval ratings for the Democrat Party have plunged to the lowest level ever recorded. They're at 26%. So you tell me about the midterms, right? 26, the lowest level ever for either party. The Republican Party is a much bigger party now than it was ever before. And I must say that it's the biggest now since you heard the name Donald J. Trump running as a politician. You heard the name before, but not as a politician. I said to my wife, I think I'm going to do this thing. Do I have your approval? Yes, darling, I think you'll win. See, she's a supportive First Lady. I don't know if she believed it or not, but she said it. She said, yes, darling, I think you'll win. How do you think I'll do? Oh, darling, you'll win very easily, even though I've never done it before. I said, I have one problem. I've never done it before. She said, that doesn't matter. You're so talented. I said, thank you very much. This is why we get along. It's easy to get along like that. But we have far more people and far more enthusiasm than the party's ever had. I think I could almost say than any party's ever had. I don't think any party's ever had more enthusiasm than us and spirit. A lot of that's our leadership. The Democrats are a broken party with bad policy. They've lost so much, and both as politicians and as people, they've lost. The stage is set for a monumental victory for the Republicans in the midterms. And many of you, I guess most of you, so many great congressmen and women here. You got some senators here also, but many of you all of you are up. We've got to win. We've got to work really hard, and we got to win, because there's no way they should be winning based on policy, and it's ultimately about policy. We simply have to keep our promises to the people, and we have to very simply put America first. Put America first. And I said, I ran on common sense. I ran it sounds like a phrase that would have been used. I don't know. Nobody tells me it was used in politics before. Now everybody's using it. I see the Democrats, some Democrat guy who was just a real sleazeball, got up. He said, yeah, I ran on common sense. That's what I did. Common sense, yeah. And I said, gee, but the problem in politics, you come up with a little slogan and they copy it. But, they copied no tax on tips. Remember, I said no tax on tips. Nevada hadn't been won for many years by a Republican. And state of Nevada, and don't ever call it Nevada. You'll lose 25%. Call it Nevada. It's true. It seems almost nicer the other way. Nevada sounds like Brooklyn. Does that make sense? I come from Nevada. But don't ever call it Nevada, call it Nevada. But as you know, the corrupt globalist establishment that ruled our country for decades is now complaining that I'm doing exactly what I pledged to do in the campaign. All of these things, tariffs, the men and women's sports, everything. The borders, strong borders. We have the strongest border we've ever had today. It was just announced. Strongest border. They don't want to write that. They forget. They forget. Eggs. I came in eggs. Not a very glamorous thing to talk, but eggs. I was in for 1 week, and they said, egg prices are soaring. I said, I've just been here. I didn't know this, please. I didn't know it. The fake news, they're going, egg prices are soaring. I said, man, I just got here. Let me know about it. What's going on with eggs? Tell me. So they gave me a little bit of a thing, and it's true. Under Biden, they soared like double, tripled, quadrupled. You couldn't even get them. They were not available. They said, don't use eggs for Easter. Use the plastic alternative plastic. We got, at Mar-a-Lago, we got plastic eggs all over the place. They said, don't use it for Easter. If you're doing an Easter egg hunt, do not use eggs. Well, we have a wonderful Secretary of Agriculture, as you know, Brooke Rollins. She's here someplace, I think. And she went after it. When she goes after something, we don't play games, right, Brooke? And egg prices are down now 87%, and you have all the eggs you want, 87%. And they didn't write about it. They don't talk about it. I go up, I make speeches about eggs all the time. I never get a reporter writing about it because we were successful. If you're a Republican, when you're successful in something, you have to toot your own horn. Talk about it because you're the only one that's going to. It's a rough business, I will tell you. But the shrill voices that you're hearing this week about tariffs are the same scoundrels and frauds who never thought twice about when the United States lost 90,000 factories and plants. Think of that, 90,000. How do you do 90? If you had a map, a big map the size of that wall, and you...
और अब शामिल करेंगे न्यूज़ हेडलाइंस। पाकिस्तानियों के कदमों में मादनी ज़खायर, हाथों में महारत है। मायूसी और बेअमली की कोई गुंजाइश नहीं। आर्मी चीफ जनरल आसिम मुनीर का पाकिस्तान मिनरल्स इन्वेस्टमेंट फोरम से खिताब। आर्मी चीफ ने कहा, सरमायाकारों को यकीन दिलाते हैं आपकी महारत से फ़ायदा उठाना कौमी ख्वाहिश है। आप पुरअतमाद पार्टनर के तौर पर पाकिस्तान पर भरोसा कर सकते हैं। पाकिस्तान मादनी मैशत में आलमी रहनुमा बनकर उभरने को तैयार है। बैनुल-अक़वामी इदारे सरमायाकारी के मौक़े तलाश करें, तरक्की में हमारे साथ शराकतदारी करें। मादनी ज़खायर इस्तेमाल करके कर्ज से छुटकारा पा सकते हैं। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म शहबाज शरीफ का पाकिस्तान मिनरल्स इन्वेस्टमेंट फोरम से खिताब। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म ने कहा, हमारी